It is the technology show where we translate geek
into regular speak.
Every week. Hello, Angela. How are you?
Every week, yes.
Oh, every week.
You added that. You add that.
I added that in.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Getting ready for game 3 of 3, the big finale tonight. For those that don't know what I'm talking about,
well,
State of Origin.
State of Origin tonight, yes. Go the Blues. I've heard that the stadium, I want to say Lang Park. I'm probably saying the wrong one. But the stadium up in Queensland, I think, is fully booked, sold out 40,000.
But now, is that 40,000 at capacity, or is it 40,000 COVID, which means it can actually take like 80,000? I don't know.
We only discuss COVID now.
Okay, so it's COVID now.
Right. Those are the given the latest news of South Australia and what's been going on there and how quickly and easily that can happen. Of course, if we're going to continue to just not worry about who we test in hotel quarantine, that's always going to be a problem.
Well, let's go straight on to the show, and I'm going to share my screen and bring up my pretty pictures because we've been getting pretty good at doing that. Let's do this and change our size. There we go. Things with a Z. So I think I mentioned it last week that I've got better and I've now
I just wanted you to clarify now that
Yes.
you've got better at sizing things.
Not too much sizing things. I talked about getting my new phone last week and not opening it. I don't know if I mentioned that on
Yeah, you
air.
did.
I
You
did.
several times you told
I
us
went
about.
home that night and I opened it, and this is the glory. I'm going to be like Steve Cook now.
I have to sift
This
through
is the best iPhone
I
that
have to
Apple's
sift
ever
through
made.
this. Somebody help me.
Okay, no, but it's interesting because you're an iPhone user as well, and I've got more.
Because I have to,
No, you
not
don't.
because I want
You
to.
want to be an Android user.
I miss my Windows phone.
This is the technology show where we talk about good technology, and I've got lots of.
I
things
had good
coming through. Look there.
technology.
Do you know Mina?
Hi,
She's saying
Mina.
hello.
Hi.
He's saying hello. I can't see my screen from here. I must put my glasses
From
on.
here.
Hello to
Hello.
everyone. So back to the awesome iPhone 12. This is the iPhone 12 Pro. Now, if you look at the picture on the screen, it's the smaller one of the two blue,
Look,
Pacific blue.
I want a new iPhone because the one I've got is the 10.
Yes. So you're due for an upgrade.
I am due for an upgrade.
This is the phone you want to get.
Yes,
I'm going to convince you in the next 8 minutes or whatever I have of this segment. How's that?
No,
Oh.
why? You don't need to convince me.
Okay.
I'm just, you know.
That's okay. Wait, let me excite you. So first of
you
all,
and the iPhone. I know the 3 cameras is important
4
and
cameras.
it's great for whatever, 3, 4, whatever.
okay. So
How is it 4?
well, that little. So if you look on the screen, I'm busy pointing here to you, but if you look on the screen, that little circle below the third camera, the offset camera
it's
down there,
called
okay, it's LiDAR. That is
LI.
DAR. I should
LiDAR.
know this by now. It's something like Light Intelligent Directional Radar, something like that.
And what's it
I don't
do?
know. So what it does, it's designed for interior decorators, people that need to map out and measure.
Yeah.
You map out your aerial room and it builds a full 3D model for you. In fact, I have the app open.
Why did we need that?
Well, you needed, well, let me show you. So here it is here. So there's LiDAR, okay?
I don't
So-
understand. I don't pick up my phone and go, if only
Watch,
it had
look
a
at the
mapping
screen.
thing.
Look at that. It maps out everything. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
going to
really-
stop it there.
It's really cool.
And then it lets you put it into a 3D model.
Okay, but I don't understand why that needed to be a feature.
Well, they've had on the iPad for a long time. Now they've put it in the phone because a lot more people aren't carrying their iPads necessarily.
But only on this one, it wasn't on the.
This is the only phone that it's come out on.
So, right.
So that's one of the launch things.
Okay.
It has its place for measurement, for mapping out, for augmented reality. We'll use LiDAR.
So are you saying we can actually measure things?
Well, you can map things. You
I
can
can-
put things into
I
a
can-
digital map.
I can point, shoot, save, and go, it's really only this
You're not
big,
helping me. Our guest of the week is going to take me to task on this as it is, okay?
and I can't
And
wait.
now and now you're not
Hope
getting
he's
my
got the
home-
baby.
No, he doesn't. He wouldn't. Oh, you mean the baby on the shop? Maybe we'll see where he is.
Yeah.
So let me finish with my iPhone segment for those
Yeah,
people that
right.
actually are interested.
I've
in
done
your
my
iPhone.
best, people, to
Okay.
sidetrack him, but
I'm just going to carry on now
to
quickly.
no avail.
So the little white one that you see there is
Yeah.
the new little mini. They've gone back to a small size.
Yeah.
Same hardware, same specs as the 12, which is the bigger white one that you see there.
Yeah.
Great value, entry level.
So the mini is smaller than your new phone.
Yes, well, you can see that is to scale if you look at those pictures. So the mini is the smallest. Then the 12 and the 12 Pro are the same size.
Yeah.
I've got the Pro.
So
And then the new 12
so the
Pro
mini will be the
Max.
same as the 10.
No, smaller.
Smaller than the 10.
Smaller, like the little SE that came out, one that had the button.
Maybe that, but I want the 3-4 cameras though.
Well, no, you definitely want to go for the 12 Pro. Knowing the way you use your phone and the battery requirements, that you want the 12 Pro. And you can get in this gorgeous Pacific blue color.
I want.
Okay, good. So at least I've done something. I'm not going to go into the hardware specs. It's pretty much the same. It's faster, it's quicker, there's better memory, blah, blah, blah. They've gone back to that retro design, which a lot of people love and other people hate.
Yep.
It's a personal thing. I personally love my phone. I've been using it now for the last 5-6 days. I think it's fantastic. Hey, Jay.
It's a phone. Hi, Jay.
Okay, so it's a great phone.
It's
an awesome phone. Leading on for the phone, let's go here. I'm going to get taken to task on this by the Android listeners, but I'm going to do it anyway. Those are called widgets. Okay, now widgets basically allow you to put lots of little shortcuts onto your phone on the home screen.
For those of you that have been using the widget on your Android phone for probably
they're going to
a decade,
and they're going to go told you so. Or
please
copy.
feel free to jump in and go, so yesterday iPhone.
Right, it is. I admit that up front. I'm going to get taken to task on that up front. But
I'm sorry. Are we
interrupting the sounds
you?
off. No, I'm turning my sounds off.
Are we interrupting you?
Then you're going ping, ping, ping.
Watch.
So
okay, yeah. So
the
now
widgets are great because you don't need the new iPhone. You need iOS 14, and as far as
it's the operating system.
The operating system.
So I've got the iPhone 10, and if I
you
get
can
the
put
new,
widgets on.
I think it's already on
there. If you've got iOS 14,
it started doing this.
Yeah, you would have had that. What's nice about it, and why my app of the week is Amazing Widget. So you can go to amazingwidget.app, and that will give you a whole collection of curated widgets that are just easy enough to drag and drop and add in. But you can put your diary appointments, you can put the weather, you can put your run meters. I've got my battery dials there because I have a watch, Jabra headset, the phone itself, obviously. So it shows me all my battery meters in one spot.
Do you ever have time to do any work?
No, I don't work. Do I?
No,
do you work?
I'm thinking you don't because you can't.
But this is my work. This is what I do. There's people that want to know like stuff.
Yeah.
I'm here to help them find out stuff.
Well,
so this is my work for now.
It looks like it does look like a great widget because you showed me just before we hopped on live, and scrolled through, and it is a great curation to give you like a highlight of what you might want to see on your phone, but it's not like it's an extra hardship to just click on the app.
No, but remember take someone like yourself who actually is busy, because I'm not the busy one, you're the busy one. At one glance of your phone, and this is why Android had it originally, you can, as you can see on the screen, right? There's your new meeting that's coming out, or you can make a meeting if you need it by pushing that widget.
Yeah.
The photos, I mean, you wouldn't have photos there. If you did, though, if one of the pictures of your little niece or nephew came through, that would pop up straight away in that widget. So it's a notifier, and it just keeps your screen fresh. The time you've always got, that's a waste of time widget. The steps today is quite cool. No, the time you've got, you don't need as a widget. You've already got the time. I mean, if you turn your phone on and off, the first thing you see is time.
Yeah,
but still, the step counter is a
I don't
quote.
wear a watch anymore.
Yeah, but
that's
you'll see it. I mean, if you turn it on, there it is, straight away, 1410. Whoa, 1410. We're going to have to get moving into the next segment soon.
Amazing widget's great. Yay.
Amazing widget. It is cool. I like it.
How did you find it? How did you discover it? Why did it make our list of things with the
I wanted to find out if there was an easier way to load widgets or customize widgets.
Right.
Because I am busy sometimes.
Right.
And I needed to find a quick way to do it.
And while you were just sitting around doing nothing one day going,
I need a widget.
Is there a widget for a widget?
Is there a widget for a widget?
That's what it is, isn't it? A widget for a widget?
It's a widget for a widget.
There is a widget for a widget. It's called Amazing Widget.
Yes.
.app.
You can get a free version and you can get a paid version. The paid version gives you more curated widgets.
Clearly.
They give you sexier, more functionality. Yep. And it wasn't bad. I think it was like $1 for the year or something. Anyway, that's it. Things with a Z.
I want to jump in first.
You want to jump in first? Can I change the screen?
Yeah, for business tech news.
There we go. Jump in first, business tech news.
I have special business tech news.
Okay. So is this the right screen that I'm on?
Yes.
Okay. Let's jump in first.
Well, I'm not discussing this.
Okay.
What are we discussing? But you can leave it there. Okay. So contrary to popular opinion, apparently the one thing you don't have is the fact to how to verify whether the $1.9 million you've just spent on a bottle of whiskey, whether it's actually what you're paying for, which would be a rare whiskey.
And you know I love my whiskey.
And so do I. And there's been a lot of fraud apparently perpetuated around rare whiskies because people lie. And, if you're forking out $1.9 million, and who doesn't do that?
Oh, for the 26 Macallan. I read that the other day, didn't you?
For a bottle of whiskey. Now, apparently 40% of tested whiskies are fake.
40
fake or incorrectly dated. So what they're doing is they're bringing tech into the world of whiskey so that you can actually verify the whiskey itself. And there's like little chips. There's a whiskey tasting tongue.
Tasting tongue?
Yeah, you might have to open the bottle.
Why would you want to waste a precious drop of whiskey on a whiskey tasting tongue? Got one right here.
You might have to open the bottle to do that, but there is other technology that can verify the origin of the whiskey. So I just want you all to know, don't worry. Your $1.9 million is safe.
If
technology has stepped in and saved you.
We talked about origin, about the Swiss watches. We talked about the whiskey. I actually like that because I love whiskey. And it's this time of the year when I normally buy a present to myself, from myself, to say, well done for a hard year.
Gail,
it's always whiskey. Oh, she knows.
Gail, check the budget. 1.9 million might be going.
No, I won't be buying that unless it's Zimbabwean dollars.
On a 1926 Macallan.
I tell you what, that I don't think that would taste that nice.
Sold at Sotheby's. And
but I still don't think that would taste that nice. It's
Scotland researchers are doing the groundbreaking tech to
hello,
identify.
Tess. We've been called tech heads. So, hello, Tess. Anywho, so let's move to the screen. But that is interesting. Thank you. I don't own any whiskey that's that valuable that needs to be verified.
Well, it wouldn't hang around very long at my place.
So why do I have Shopify and the Victoria State Government up on the screen?
Yeah, and
why do I have the Victoria State Government up on the screen?
And I'm also going to wonder why you don't have the New South Wales Government one up on the screen.
Well,
given that the budget came down last night, and they're going to give us all 4 times 25.
That was actually brilliant. I actually phoned someone to discuss that and say how amazing that is. So for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, if you live in New South Wales, I think it's from January they're available. Is it coming out now? Do you know exactly when?
No.
Okay. You as an adult can go into Services New South Wales or using the app, and you can get 4 $25 vouchers. 2 of them are for food and 2 of them are for entertainment. So you'd be able to go out for a meal with your family or go and watch a movie, go to Luna Park, go somewhere like fun. And they're going to kick in $25 towards it. So for the people that are really doing it tough, what a great way to get out. Also, you're putting $25 down, maybe it's a $50 or $60 bill. You can find the extra $40, but you couldn't find the full 60.
Yeah.
The restaurants are getting $60. They get settled straight away by the government. It's a fantastic initiative to get us out there.
Yes, and I just want to say, I don't know yet if these vouchers are transferable or not. So I don't know if there are any individual names. Because I was going to say, if you can afford it, don't get them or give them to someone else to use, or invite someone out for dinner and you pay the difference and just use that as a contribution.
Yep, that's a good
Because
call.
if you really can afford it, don't do that. Don't just go and get 4 $25 vouchers just because it's there. Because the last thing the state needs is more debt, and the last thing we need is those that can afford not doing their part. So I would like to hasten that.
Okay, well, that is valid. And more importantly, if you can afford it, go out and spend more than the $25.
You would assume that you've got to spend more than $25 if you go to a restaurant. And there's questions like, well, what if you don't spend $25 at the restaurant? What if you only spend $19? Are they going to give you?
They don't give it back.
No, it wouldn't be.
No, but the restaurant will get the full $25 on the voucher, though. They said. So that's cool.
So you'd want to spend.
So that is a nice initiative.
Yeah.
But back to Shopify in Victoria.
Yes.
So for anyone that doesn't know what Shopify is, that is one of the platforms that you can use to build an e-commerce store. And e-commerce is obviously the buzzword of 2020, right? We're not going into store, we're going online.
So Shopify builds your whole website?
No,
or
you have to build it yourself.
Right, okay.
But this is the tool that you would use.
For e-commerce.
Correct. There's WooCommerce as well.
Because it does your shopping cart and it does all the payments and stuff like that.
So all the things that you need to assemble, correct. So it's more than just a website. There's security, there's all kinds of things. Shopify is a great platform. There are other choices. But what's happened is the Victoria government has decided to partner with Shopify.
Yep.
And they will pay. So Shopify will give you your first month free, the subscription for the Shopify platform.
Yep.
Which is great. And then if you stay with them for the year, it's going to cost you about $1,200 for the year. So it's about $100 a month.
For the year.
For the year.
That's year.
Yeah. And you will then get your $1,200 back. You'll be able to claim the rebate back from the government.
If you're in Victoria.
If you're in Victoria.
If you're a Victorian business and you're going to use e-commerce. So if you're going to build a new platform or add e-commerce to an existing platform and you're in Victoria, you need to have a look at this because it's really, really good.
But wait, there's more. Even if you're not in Victoria, here, thanks to the SME Association and stuff that you and I have been working on for 2 months now, I think?
Maybe
pretty
a bit
much.
More.
Maybe a bit more. It's one of those watch these space moments, but we're working on something in conjunction with the SME Association where all Australians are welcome to come across, and we'll be able to help you with your e-commerce solutions in it as well.
Yes.
We'll talk about it once it's ready.
But you can hop onto the smea.org.au site,
and
there are digital transformation grants, there are video marketing grants.
In the interim, yes.
Yeah, in the interim, that could apply to you almost immediately, and we can sort that out. But of course, this is a great offer from the Victorian.
It is a great offer, it's good to see that the government is doing its part to help the small businesses
in the digital transformation.
Correct.
World.
So that was why that was up there. What else do we have? Ooh, love this topic.
Cybersecurity is one of the number one pain points in terms of tech.
For everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a global shitball. It's the only way I can say it. But so you know how they keep saying, like, as the thieves start doing something and the government catches up, or the people then they move one step ahead.
Yeah, they were always one step ahead.
So unfortunately, so we've talked about ransomware before. If you've picked up a magazine or a newspaper or any email that's come through in the last month, you've seen some company has been a victim of ransomware. There's a new ransomware called Regret Locker, and it's very aptly named because some of the sentiments of some of the bigger companies were, don't worry, we've got our stuff backed up in the cloud, or we have offsite backups. Well, Regret Locker has come to give you a regret. If you get hit with a ransomware malware, so in other words, if it does get into your system and it happens to be the Regret Locker malware, then it will lock down and take ransom of your cloud-based servers as well. So
that's it. You're not safe in the cloud either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge advocate of backups, and specifically cloud backups.
Yep.
So that way, if you lose your machine or get stolen, whatever. But these guys have just moved the benchmark even
So what can
now.
people do?
So look, it goes back to the first thing. If you shouldn't be doing it online, don't. I put that little picture of Mr. Robot, which is a TV series, and I'm finally about to finish it. So there's 4 seasons of it, and I'm loving the series. But this actually hits at home for you. The whole show is about them taking down big evil corporates and what they can do with it. If you're going to get hit, you're going to get hit. There's nothing you can do about it. 1, make sure that your antivirus software is up to date. 2, make sure that you don't go to dodge sites. Don't go looking for dark webs. If an offer comes through and says, hey, click here and give us this, don't be stupid.
But you would assume that big companies aren't doing that.
It's not the big companies,
it's
unfortunately.
It's the individual
that works there. Yeah.
Don't they have rules about what they can do on company?
They do, Angela, but let's be honest. One, work from home has made it very difficult. Yep. You're not in a firewall inside the company anymore.
Yep.
So, when you're sitting inside, when you're sitting behind a firewall, then, you can control what people can and can't do. You can turn off YouTube, you can turn off Facebook, etc., etc. When you're working from home or working away from the office, you don't have those same controls because they're connecting to whatever they're connecting to.
Yeah, and you have everything open all at once.
Can you see that face that's sitting in our studio lobby? Just acknowledging that we can see you there. Our guest of the week is in our lobby. We'll get him on air with us momentarily.
Just keep a note of what's being said about, widgets and apps and the new iPhone.
Here we go. You've got to at least still give me a few more minutes before that starts. So
be careful.
That is my
Regret Locker.
Regret Locker. I think it's the last bit of news, or one more. Yeah,
it's
second last bit of news. Telcos coming under pressure.
It's all connected.
So the Australian Communications and Media Authority, the ACMA,
ACMA,
have now asked that companies start actually publishing the information about the speeds and the connectivity and the customer complaints, etc.
Because
it's about damn time. So why did I put that picture up? Well, it's very simple. If you're buying your internet for home or office use based on price, you could be in for a big surprise. That sounds like if you're going down to the woods today.
Pay peanuts, get monkeys.
100%. So just to explain to everyone, where they're selling you, let's say, a 50 meg line, that means it has the ability to go to 50 megs. But it depends on how much wholesale data, see I said data, not data, data that they buy from the telco. The bandwidth, the board, BAUD. So if they're not buying a lot, you are always going to be throttled. You're never going to see speeds. Okay, so don't buy cheap, especially if your job depends on it. If you're doing a lot of video conferencing.
But how do you know?
Well, you can research, and that's what ACMA is now saying, is that people start needing to publish this. A lot of companies have been taken to task. TPG has been taken to task. Correct.
They have to pay.
So very simple, just speed test. The little picture up there will show you. You've got download and upload. Now for streaming, what we're doing now in broadcast and video, you need upload speed as well. Now in Australia, we don't get very good upload speed. It's normally about a quarter of the speed. I get about 400 or 500 megs down at home, but I only get 80 up. 80 is more than enough. But if you're gaming or doing a lot of video, you need more, you need more upload. So 5 or 10 or whatever I'm showing there, 2, not enough. Ping is important as well, okay? Ping is the time that it takes for your machine, your connection, to connect to the network and back again, to get data back again.
So why do we say ping me?
Well, that's where it comes from, and it actually comes from the submarines. Verified distance to target, 1 ping only.
Oh.
Ping. So it's a measurement of speed and distance. That's what it's all about. Now, there at 149, you turn your machine off and go and make coffee. It's just, you're not going to be able to do anything. It's just not worthwhile. You want to see ping under 20. Anything over 20, you've got a really slow connection. You're going to get buffering and all those other horrible things.
Right.
That's just my little quick measurement, because we're going into the holiday time now. People are going to be spending more time at home watching Netflix, Hulu, blah, blah, blah.
I binge more now.
Correct. So you need this. You need to be aware of it. So choose your provider based on what bandwidth and wholesale they buy, not what they're giving you.
Okay.
And then the last thing in the telco, which is probably a good thing to bring our guest in, GitHub. So GitHub, for those of you that don't know, is the open source free repository. So all developers that want to make their code available for free can put into GitHub. Now, recently, GitHub was acquired by Microsoft. A lot of the developers were not happy about that because they saw that being the end of freedom, and Microsoft's now going to spy on them and all those other horrible things. What is interesting is YouTube. They call them projects on GitHub. So all the little tools that you can use, it's a project. I'm doing this project, that project, etc. They had a project that allowed you to download YouTube videos. Now that's a copyright infringement. So it was taken down. They've now put it back up. They've now put the project back up so you can download YouTube videos.
What? Why aren't you allowed to download YouTube
Well, it's
videos?
someone's content, right? Like if you put content up there, I don't know, maybe it's a live set of music, or so you're talking about our channel,
okay.
like our channel, you've got all these videos go there, the videos that you do for your interviews as well, I'll show. If we don't want people to download it, they can using this GitHub project, and there's other tools as well.
Okay.
It's copyright. So I mention this as news.
To download it, to take it and do something with.
To do something with it.
Okay.
Now, will Microsoft step in because it's piracy? By stepping in, are they making all the fears of the GitHub members come true? That Big Brother's there. So just interesting to see how this plays out. This is yesterday's news. They were talking about this.
But shouldn't it be best practice? Shouldn't it always be about best practice?
It is, but ultimately, and according to YouTube's terms and conditions, you cannot download the content. It's not yours to download.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Isn't it best practice to observe doing the right thing? And Microsoft should step in and say, because
but if they, you're right, you're 100% right. But if they do, then they're confirming all the fears of the open source community that Microsoft is a commercial company.
But there's a difference between open source
and stealing. Well, this is
because one is with consent. Open source is putting it up there with your consent.
Correct. So it's as I said, it's interesting. our guest might have a viewpoint of this as well. He might know his way around.
Shall we
bring him in?
Shall we allow him to enter?
Let's allow him into the studio. Here we go. Boom. Where's he gone?
It's hiding.
He's there. And let's do this.
Is the baby
and
there?
Let's do this. Oh. So welcome Aryeh Sternberg, ex-co-host, good mate, and head of design at PrimeVariable. Did I get that right?
We can't hear him.
We can't hear him. Hello?
Has he unmuted himself?
I don't know.
Now I have unmuted myself.
There we go. Head of design, and he can do the mute button. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just
we want to know where the baby is. Yeah. Angela's like, where's the baby? That's all she said.
Unfortunately, the baby's not here. I can pull a picture up on my phone.
Now?
You sold it already?
Should we turn them off now? Like, do we even continue? We've got 10 minutes of baby time.
No, I thought I'm deeply disappointed. You know, I said you could come on as a guest because he'd bring the baby. No baby. Okay.
Okay. Well, let's take us back.
That was a short interview, wasn't it?
The shortest interview ever.
Hello, Mr. Sternberg. Good to have you back on the show, bud.
Good to be here.
I don't know, but don't you hate that he actually expressed like ex-co-host? It's like saying this is my ex-husband or my ex-girlfriend.
But we broke up nicely. Like we still talk.
Do you have to say that?
Or previous co-host?
What? Al. He's still part of Al.
Okay, so he's the second A. You can't be the first A anymore. You'll be fighting this, and you don't want to fight. You don't want to fight. It's just not worth it.
iPhone.
Oh, here we go. You straight away iPhone. Before we go into iPhone bashing, okay, hold on. Don't even show me the device. I have to turn you off the screen. Thoughts on GitHub, and then we're going to talk PrimeVariable, and then we're going to talk about iPhone bashing.
Why should GitHub? If it's open source, it's open source, right? If it's not, it's not.
Yeah. Yes. I think I agree with Angela. You know, if it's open source or it's not. But when Microsoft, I think they own the platform. They don't necessarily own the content.
Correct, 100%. So I don't know if you could hear the show.
So anyone can put content on GitHub?
Yeah. Any developer can.
They don't have to ask permission to put it on the platform?
No.
What if they put malware?
So I'm fairly certain that if you break the regulations of the platform, they will kick you off. And like on Twitter, you know, if you your
name is Donald Trump and you say shit things, what?
You know, if you dead name someone, like someone who's changed their sex and changed their name, and you call them by their old name, you'll get kicked off Twitter for life, for example. So I think GitHub will have that.
It's actually Jack Dorsey's birthday tomorrow, and his birthday present is a day in court. Him and Zuckerberg, I think they're still facing the commission.
He needs to get a haircut and a shave. That's for sure.
Well, he's had a nice shave.
Yeah.
So let's talk PrimeVariable, so we don't run out of time. Aryeh, exciting. You know, before the hiatus and trip to Indonesia and everything else,
making babies,
and congrats on that. And we're very upset that we don't have her here. Moving along, PrimeVariable. Tell us, go for it. What is it?
Yeah.
Very.
You know, I think what's really important is, you know, we've all seen so many things happen and change in the last calendar year, and particularly, you know, looking at the show and a lot of what we talk about in general, you and I, Brett, and the show is, you know, the large enterprises, most of them have gotten through largely unscathed, you know, with some money being lost here and there. But small and medium enterprises have just been, you know, battling and trying to figure out how to deal with the changes.
Really severely hit, yeah.
Severely hit. And, you know, when we look at New South Wales, we've fared better than, you know, Melbourne, which is just now coming out of the lockdown.
Absolutely.
Adelaide is now going into it, and you know, you look at what's happening with restaurants and with employment and such, and we just have to really be able to understand what is it that our business is going to do to be able to survive in this new world, and any sort of relationship that we have, whether it's, you know, at home, the way that we work, the way that we engage, friendship. We've had to really kind of approach it from a new perspective and understand how that's changed. And what we're trying to do with PrimeVariable is bring the idea of what we call design thinking, human-centered design, and apply what's called service design to the everyday engagement of the business user. And the challenge is, we talk about, UX, UI, right? User experience and user interface. And that sort of turned into the buzzword of CX, customer experience, which Adobe has sort of said, we own that, or Salesforce, we own that. Largely, it's kind of a moniker that people talk about, but don't really necessarily understand what it is. And then service design.
Okay.
Yeah. So service design is the next step beyond that, where it is what it sounds like, designing a service, but it's really taking a step back and saying, if the customer is at the center of everything that we're doing, what is it that they're experiencing, and what do we need to do to make that experience as great as possible for each different type of customer, different individual that's out there. Large businesses pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to employ agencies like AKQA, where I spent some time, to do a massive service design blueprint and identify exactly what the customer experience is, what is the customer journey, what is the employee experience when engaging with the customer, what are the different technologies that are employed in that experience, what are the data that are generated and that are used to power that experience, and what are all the other elements that come into play. So a customer journey, for example, might be, I walk into a store, I order a coffee, the coffee is served to me, and I walk out. That's a journey. But to facilitate that, the back end, you've got a barista, you have a point of sale system, you have coffee beans that are delivered to the coffee shop at a certain time. All these things come into play that design the whole service. And so what we're doing at PrimeVariable is, how do we actually, help small, medium businesses that don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend to identify what does that service look like, where are there gaps and where there are opportunities, in particular with today's COVID situation.
That's what I wanted to ask you is, how does it affect, so you just used the example of walking into a coffee shop and walking out with a coffee. If we're all remote and working from home or working away from office as such, then surely, and as I'm talking about small businesses, obviously that's what we champion here as well. How important would this journey planning be now that you're doing at PrimeVariable to make sure that you don't lose that interaction?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, consider that if pretty much any sort of business that has a business to consumer face, even business to business face, how we run our business is based on certain interactions with that consumer. And so if that face-to-face, person-to-person experience is no longer possible, what do we need to do immediately to change that? Obviously, we're looking at, Brett and I, you and I both spend a lot of time looking at the digital side of things. That idea of saying, okay, what is the core of the interaction, and how do we derive the value that the customer is taking away from that? And can we replace it if there isn't the opportunity to have that face-to-face experience? What is the next closest thing? It may not be a Zoom call, right? And so, if you are going to facilitate that, is there a way to really quickly create that digital experience through a website, through a social media site, through a Shopify e-commerce platform? So it's kind of taking a step back and understanding, what is it that the customer needs? What would they get?
It's still about online interaction. It's online.
There may be an intermediary. There may be an Uber Eats or some kind
This
of.
is what's interesting is that you still have to have an analog component to make digital components actually work, because you can't use a computer unless it gets to you. For example,
it's not. Yeah, it's not all digital. A lot of businesses are looking.
Digital. Off of the show. Must be a Samsung user.
But you're talking about adapting to a different way of doing a user experience or the customer experience. You're just talking about optimizing the customer experience wherever it's had.
Optimizing, but first understanding. One of the challenges is that
so you identify first. You identify.
Yeah. So
and then resolve.
Understand, observe, and then have a perspective. Once you've got that, then you're going in and you're creating different opportunities based on the insight you derive from what's there. And oftentimes when we look at small, medium businesses, we'll start a business and see that, Joe's mom and pop coffee shop, this is how they run their business. Well, I can do a coffee shop a bit better. If I have 2 tills instead of 1 till, I can serve twice as many customers without actually going and asking the customer, do you even want to go wait at a till, or would you like to be able to order from an app and sit outside and we'll bring the coffee to you? So it's that idea of going to the customer and actually having those interviews and do user testing to say, this is kind of what we found. Let's actually test that and bring it to you.
And are you enjoying this work?
I'm enjoying it because, as Brett knows, I started my career as a creative thinker in advertising, and in Vietnam. So everything, all the ideas I came up with and everything that I put into the advertising that our agency put out was based on my observation of what was happening around me. I do speak Vietnamese to a degree, but watching how people interact.
No, he actually can speak Vietnamese.
I'm just saying.
What's a Thai beef salad, Aryeh?
What's that?
Thai beef salad in Vietnamese.
Or pawpaw, green pawpaw.
Thai beef salad.
Salad.
Thai.
Muay Thai.
That's like
That's not like the karate game, Muay Thai. Right, we're running out of time. I'm going to let you bash the iPhone for 1 second. I'm going to invite you to stay on. Oh, here we go. That is a copy of an iPhone 12, but you can see it's fake because the cameras are all in a line. They
came out first, man. But I will bash the iPhone 12. I think that it came out after. It's obviously going to be better and faster and stronger. It is iPhone's.
I just want to pause for a moment. Out of your mouth came the words better, faster, and stronger. And talking about iPhone, and say, my job's done. I can go now. It's done. I can leave the planet. Elon, take me.
I've made that to a degree.
Can I just have that confirmed? Gail, we'll just get rid of him.
Aryeh, just to quickly finish up on PrimeVariable side, where do we find you, or what's the website, etc., and then I'm going to invite you to stay with Q&A.
You just have to think about him. You just have to think about him. Just like he's a creative thinker, you just think about him, and there he is.
Just think about it. So the easiest way to find me is at my first name, Aryeh, at my last name.com.au, Aryeh@sternberg.com.au.
Literally there are people listening right now entering my first name and my last name. Right?
So Aryeh.Sternberg.
Aryeh@sternberg.com.au.
Okay, email, sorry. Aryeh, okay, and I've also put your Twitter handle up. That's right, hey? Aryeh Aussie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's it.
Join us for Q&A.
Yeah.
That's our last section, and it will be quite interesting to see if, especially, I'm looking at some of the questions that have come through. I think there's a battle to be had here as well. So I'm going to go like this and put my slide up. It's Q&A time.
Uh-huh.
Right. So here's one of the questions that came through. Which is the best home assistant?
Not Cortana.
That's not a home assistant. That's a waste of time.
Not Cortana. Don't do it.
It's definitely, Cortana is not bad from
the
quality of text transcription from Cortana is better.
It's my life. Now it's telling me what to do.
I was trying to.
I would use Cortana as a transcription service only. I would not use it as a system.
No, I know.
Cortana's on your Windows machine.
Yeah, but I only ever work. I don't know about home.
Okay.
So we're talking like Google Nest, right?
Google
Nest.
Google's going to be the best assistant today.
Alexa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going to give you. So I agree. I think Google's still the best home assistant we have. I'm not even going to talk about how shit Siri is and HomePod. And HomePod Mini is great from a quality point of view and speaker point of view, but it's still Siri. And this is coming from a fanboy. I do not have one. I probably won't have one. However, there's only one reason I would defend Alexa or suggest Alexa. If you buy a lot of stuff on Amazon using what they call skills, so you train Alexa, you go into their skills app and you say like almost an if this then that. So I can just go, Alexa, order my vitamins. That's all I have to say, and my vitamins will arrive on my doorstep. It will be paid for, it'll be shipped, everything will happen. Google hasn't got there, and I say yet.
It sounds
They'll
like a
get there.
wife.
But there's lots of things that you can do with skills. And Aryeh, I know you were a very early adopter of the Echo Dot, I think was their first platform. I know that you had the Dot, and the skills thing was always the thing that intrigued you as well. And I'm just thinking even what you're saying now with PrimeVariable, right? The fact that you have to look at a journey, the way I find it a bit of a clunky system to use.
Are you still talking about Alexa?
Alexa, yeah. But when you train the skills, if you're someone that likes to build your own skills or make the system do what you need it to do the way you want it to do, hands down, Alexa is the way to go. If you shop a lot on Amazon, hands down, it's the way to go. But if you're just generally looking to control your lights or play your favorite Netflix or find out what your next appointment is on your calendar without lifting up your phone or asking your watch, then I'm going to suggest to the listener or the person that asked that question, Google. That would be my suggestion. I don't know if you agree or disagree.
But what's the point of getting anything like that if you're not integrating it?
Oh, there's still fun stuff to do. It will integrate with your phone by default. So your phone will connect to it. Your calendar will be there.
Even though I'm not Google.
Yeah, I've got an iPhone and I use Google at home.
Yeah, but you're on Gmail.
Yeah, but I don't have to be on Gmail to ask if the weather or ask me how long it's going to take to get to Wollongong or whatever. You can just talk to the damn thing.
Right.
So would you agree?
So
Amazon second, but unless you, I mean Alexa second, unless you Amazon centric on everything you do.
I would agree. I don't see. I mean, it's funny you didn't mention Bixby. I don't think anyone ever would ever again.
With Bixby. Oh, so Samsung.
Bixby, they tried and they tried
their own version.
Theory. I'll be interested to see, and it'll probably be another question another time. But when Apple's new Maps product comes out, if it will be competitive.
Look, if you want to bars, use Apple Maps and just say, "Can you just send me to Milk Bar or something like that?" And it'll probably give you directions. Hate Apple Maps. Next question, which kind of leads on to.
Well, we didn't actually. We made two decisions about Home Assistant.
Google Assistant, I think, is the right way to go. Just a normal, everyday person that's not looking to do.
When is the right time to update software? For example, the new operating system from Apple. When is the right time? I'm sorry, you have an option of when?
Yeah, you do.
Because as far as I'm concerned, it just doesn't.
No,
and you wake up in the morning. And you go, "My God, what happened?"
I'm going to start that one because it's an Apple question that's obviously why they've asked us. So, Aryeh, you probably know this anyway, but Big Sur is now available to everyone. Yep. That's the new operating system for MacBooks and
why is it just Macs? A new operating system? Why does it have to have a name?
Well, they've always named them. They used to use NAS, and now they've moved into national parks and that. So I'm a Mac user. I will not be upgrading to Big Sur until I see the 0.1. So I think it's 12 or 13, whatever the hell it is now.
That's what I always said. I always knew that my first husband was going to be I'm just waiting for the second.
Is that the operating system? So
0.1.
But this applies to phones as well. Now you're saying you wake up in the morning and it's automatically done. I would suggest you turn that feature off. I would suggest
that the iPhones have a mind of their own.
No, but
and
you can turn it off.
Yeah, sure.
Just like
sure, you can turn it off.
Aryeh, agree. You wait for 0.1, whether it's Android or Apple or Windows.
Yeah, I mean, Windows.
You don't even know what point we're up to.
Oh, it'll show you.
It'll show you, but you're assuming. And I do whatever Windows tells me to do as far as updates go on my Surface, because otherwise it won't work.
Okay, that's true. That's the problem with Microsoft, and that is a real issue. Is that Microsoft will intentionally make your app, your OS buggy.
Yeah.
It will not, things stop working correctly. Chrome tends to do a little bit as well. When there's a new Chrome update, it will actually make things stick, which is really important.
But
Microsoft does that. That is absolutely.
It's hilarious whenever there's a problem and people go, "Oh, you want Chrome?"
Okay, so public service announcement. Everyone, please move over to Apple because they're not evil like that. They don't make you update. They suggest that you do.
They're not evil.
I must say, and this is why, this is actually a great question, because I had a problem with my watch not unlocking my MacBook. And then when I reported it to Apple,
that's because Aryeh did something.
We've had a few of this. We'll add on the list, and lo and behold, a week later, there's an update, and in the update it says fixes the few cases where the Apple Watch was not unlocking the MacBook.
You know
Must
what
be
he's
more
not.
than a few cases.
You know what he's not telling us?
What am I
That
not
he was
telling
on
you?
the dark web
No, I
doing
wasn't
naughty
doing any
things,
Not
and
on
that's
this
why.
machine. I will use a separate machine.
He's got
for
another
that.
machine, yeah.
So, so when it comes to it, that's interesting. So it's a great question, and I didn't know that because I don't use Microsoft. So Microsoft, you don't have a choice.
Well, But
Apple, you do have a choice, and my
no,
recommendation
you have a
is,
choice on Microsoft.
Okay.
You cannot do it, but
and
it
then
won't
doesn't
work.
work. You don't have a
This stuff, yeah.
It's
It's
sticky.
ridiculous.
It's sticky.
I got one last question here.
What should I do with all my Google Photos now that they're going to charge for storage? I can't believe that they're going to charge. There's going to be no free.
Okay, so Google, the company that set out to go do no evil, and their big public service announcement of photos, which I remember when we were hosting, was our app of the week, actually more than once, because Google Photos was so awesome, even for Apple users. So for those people that haven't followed the news, I think it's June next year. I don't know if it's the 1st of June or the end of June. It's irrelevant. It's June.
Next year.
Next year, 2021.
Next year.
If you have a free Gmail account, you get 15 gigs of storage,
which is
not a lot. But the photos were always excluded from that if you selected the good quality option. Now they're saying, due to costs and everything else, they're going to start charging you. They have excluded all the content you have. So Aryeh, start snapping those baby photos, mate, and just put them all up there. So anything that you load into the cloud up until June next year is excluded from your free storage, which is a good thing because most people have got thousands, tens of thousands of images. However, here's my little middle finger to Google, my little moan. You went and gave us free photo storage so that you could learn and build your artificial intelligence and your machine learning of all of our photos, of what people look like, of what cars look like, of cats, and all the things that we took and tagged. And now you're taking that away from us. So thank you very much, Google. It was great of you. But I mean, we can't see the other direction. There we go. Look at that little blue. Look at little. What a way to end the show. I've got to sign off. I'm busy moaning. She is cute. We're still trying to work out
parentage.
No. Well, we know, but
according to my father, the only one that really knows is the fact we know who the mother is. Outside of that,
that's true.
It's just life. We've been saying that my entire brother's life. Every time we all look at him,
he's not even here to defend himself.
He knows.
So that's really cute. And that's actually a really great way to end it off. So photos, the question that came through as well is like, what should I do with my photos? Nothing. They're there. You're not going to lose them. There's a segue to this as well with iCloud.
Print them, put them in an album.
No, print ages and goes weird as well.
I agree.
But I've always advocated you should have an offline copy as well. Put them on a hard drive or burn them to DVDs or something as well. But don't stress. You're not losing your storage. You're not losing your photos. Because that's what happens when you don't pay your storage bill. You just can't access it. It's like on most platforms. Google's not doing that. So your photos will be there. They're not disappearing. It doesn't come out of your storage, but it will fill up quickly.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, Aryeh, thank you, man. It was good to have you back.
Yeah, man.
It sounds better.
I think it's really important that people know that things have changed, and as a business, or as a father, or a partner, a husband, or a wife, the world is different now, and how we live and what we do, whether we like it or not, we kind of have to acknowledge the fact that things have changed, and we're out there to fix it.
I'm going to off. Aryeh, always good chatting. Thanks for joining us. Love to the fam.
Absolutely.
And until next time, keep your screens clean
and your knobs very shiny.